Hi there, my name is McCarty. I'm a local foods and small farms extension educator with the University of Illinois Extension, serving Daviess-Stephenson and Winnebago counties. As a continuation of our Get Growing series, we're now transitioning over to a YouTube series to cover some of those production principles and some of the basics when it comes to growing vegetables in a backyard setting. Today's topic is going to be on tomato trellising. Why you might trellis tomatoes compared to maybe using a tomato cage, what are some challenges that you run into when trellising your tomatoes, as well as a short demonstration on how you would go about doing this and getting started in tomato trellis. In thinking about whether you should use a tomato cage or using a trellising staking system, it really gets back to the type of tomato that you're growing. If you are growing a hybrid, patio, very small, compact type of tomato, a tomato cage would be great. It may provide everything that you need for that growing season to really support that tomato. If you are growing an open pollinated or an heirloom tomato plant that we know is going to get 6-7 feet tall and have a lot of tomatoes on it and get pretty big and bushy, a staking trellising system is going to be much more beneficial because it can provide much greater support that a tomato cage really cannot provide for you. In addition, the great benefits when it comes to staking and trellising is that it can provide greater airflow for the tomatoes. And this can ensure that if the tomatoes gets wet, that it can dry out much quicker and further mean that maybe we won't have disease problems that season. Another benefit that I find with staking and trellising is that it can allow me to kind of troubleshoot certain areas. I may find that some of my tomato plants are flopping one direction or the other, and I can come in and I can actually kind of string it and kind of put it back on its right path that it needs to be. You will find though that there are disadvantages to the system. Right now it's quite easy to stake and trellis. We can see our tomato plants here that are just about 1 foot in height. It's very easy to do. And yet, as the months go on into this growing season, you may find that there's more difficulty when it comes to it. The other issue we sometimes run into is that you may not provide as great of a stake for your tomatoes. I've found in the last couple of years to shift over more towards a metal stake. And what I find with the metal stake is that it provides a much greater support for the types of tomatoes that I'm growing. You can see here with the sun gold tomato that I've started my row with a metal stake. And while my sun gold tomato may get taller than this stake, this is a much greater support system than what a wooden stake might be. In my row situation, I start my row with a metal stake. I have 2 plants, I have a wooden stake, 2 plants, and then I end with a metal stake. You may find, depending on the type and how many tomatoes that you're growing, that you may need to have additional metal stakes than just one at the start and one at the end. And that mixture of wooden stakes and metal stakes may ensure that you have a pretty good start and a good successful season for you. The question we get at the extension office is, when should I actually trellis my tomatoes? Typically when the plants get about 8 to 10 inches in height is a good place to start when it comes to providing trellising and providing support. The other thing you want to look for is the branches. So as this tomato has been planted now for, this is its 3rd or 4th week here, you've got these 2 branches that have appeared on either side. And that's really where that first line of string is going to come in and be nestled right underneath those branches. As this tomato gets taller, the next couple of lines will go underneath those branches as they appear on either side. The other thing to note is that this string should be tight, but not too tight. You see I have a little bit of flexibility here with this cotton string line. You don't want it too tight. You don't want it to actually cut into that plant, or else you may cause some damage. Start your string at one of your stakes, ensuring that it is tightly knotted and at the height of the tomato branch. Working your way down the row, ensure that the string stays underneath the branch. At the middle stake, loop the string around and continue to the next 2 tomatoes. At the final stake, loop your string again and work your way back on the other side, ensuring you loop the string on the middle stake and the string is supporting the tomato branches. Tie up the string at the end. This is your first line of string. And with that, you've trellised your tomatoes, and now you're off to a good start to your growing season. For more information on resources and upcoming events, please visit extension.illinois.edu/JSW or follow us on Facebook at Northwest Illinois Local Foods.